Okay, welcome back. This is putting together a quick and dirty adventure game. It's Story Machine. So far, the previous episodes, we've covered how to put text in this text box and make a change. We've got objects that you can click on and bring up other objects and change the text. We've got a region over here that you control. Today, we're going to do a little bit of animation and some of the most important gameplay here, which was going to be moving these important objects around to reveal what's hidden behind the wall here. So for this, what I want to do is, in fact, you know what, to simplify things, I'm even going to get rid of this, when I get rid of this side tape, and we're just going to deal with the clock for today. What I want is when you click on the clock, I want it to move to the left. And then it will sort of reveal that, Grandpa's got something hiding back there. So in order to make something clickable, we're going to start by adding a clickable to the object. Now in the inspector over here, it shows our clickable. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an animate. And to do that, we're going to use an animation an animation action. My animation action is actually a little bit complicated. It allows us to move objects in many different ways. Well, let's just go through the pieces. First, we got to specify a target object. Well, the object we're going to animate is this clock. So we'll bring the clock and drag it on there. The thing we're going to animate is the X position. That's the horizontal position. We could animate lots of other stuff, but we actually want to animate the X position. And that type of animation, this is your animation curve. Linear just means it'll move at a fixed speed, but we have all these other options. We could ease in, we could ease out. I think easing in and out looks pretty good, so it will use that. Looping is once this animation is not going to loop. It's just going to happen one time. So then the duration, well, I want to move fairly slowly because it's a heavy clock. So maybe I'll make this 4 seconds. 4 seconds to move the clock. And then we need to put a start value and end value in here. Well, if we look at the clock has got a start value of negative 25.162. That's its current position. So where's where we want to start, right? We want to always start there. Negative 25.162. And, in this world, going to the right is a positive number, going to the left is a negative number. So I want to move further left. I had to make it animate to a different number. So maybe we'll just say, I don't know, maybe negative 150. Let's see, over 4 seconds. Let's see how that looks. Let's run the game. And if we play this, if we click on the clock, you can see it shifts. Oh, I just got it back there. Well, maybe we went too far. Maybe 150 is too far. So let's stop it. We'll go back in here. Head our clickable. Let's just make it maybe 100. Then I'll feel better. Hit play. Click on this thing. Oh, now it looks heavy too. Look at that. It's perfect. The skeleton has been revealed. And we can put a little region back here, so when you click on the skeleton, he says something about it. But there's a problem with this animation, which is that if we click it again, it's going to do it again. And that's not really what we want. We want it to only happen one time. So to do that, we're going to have to remember whether or not this animation has already happened. And for that, we're going to use a variable. So variables live over here, and they're always just numbers in the Story Machine. You got project variables, which you can share across all the scenes of the project. A scene variable, which is just a variable that's specific to the current scene. And then object variables, which are variables that can only live within the current object. Now, for this one, we could make it an object variable, but I think we might want to know about whether the clock's been moved or not in other objects later. So we're going to make it a scene variable. What should I call it? Clock has moved. Now, this variable starts with the value of 0, which is fine. So if I go back into my clickable here, maybe I only really want to move the clock that hasn't already been moved. So I am going to use a check variable action, which is up in here somewhere under the check variable. So I have a check variable action here. You see that I've got this check variable action says, well, what variable do I want to check? I'm going to check clock has moved. And I'm going to check to see what it's equal to. If it's 0, that means the clock hasn't moved yet. That means we should animate it. So if clock has moved equals 0, then what should we do? Well, I want to animate it. So I'm going to click this edit button. That's going to open up another action window. Now, this is the action window for what happens when clock has moved to set to 0 when we click. What I really wanted to do is take this animation and run it. So I'm going to take this animate command and just move it over here. Now, the only command left in the clickable is this check. It says, well, if it's equal, then play the animation. And if it's not equal, there's this other case. If it's not equal, we don't even need a script in there. One more thing left to do is after the clock has moved, we want to make sure that it doesn't move again. So I'm going to set a variable here. So we'll say set variable. That's a set variable action. We're going to take the current action, which is clock has moved, and we're going to set the value to 1. All right. So now once it animates, it's going to animate, it's going to slide over, we're going to see the skeleton, then clock has moved is going to get set to 1, and then after that, this click won't do anything anymore because it's this check variable is going to say, oh, it's no longer 0. So now if we close all that up and we run it, we can click on it once and it moves, and now we can see clock has moved has changed to 1. Now if we click on it again, it doesn't do anything because clock has moved has changed to 1. And if we shape this back to 0 while it's running, we can just change it. Change this back to 0, click on it again, it'll do it again. But see, you can see how it changed. That's a very simple use of variables with a check variable and a set variable in the actions. So in these videos, what we've done is we've started to put together the basics of a point-and-click adventure game. Now we've added the text, we've made an animation, we've made a region, we've made objects that turn on and off. Now, of course, this is very simple, but also we put it together in 5 minutes. If you actually want to play with this project, it's available as a sample project. It's actually fully playable. You can play through the first scene of this game, and you can see how it's set up, but it's set up pretty much the way that we did it today. And you can go back and look at how it's all built. Story Machine makes it really easy to put together simple scenes like this. And actually, you can go a lot deeper as well. I hope this video was helpful.